You now turn the car as you come to that corner. When you turn a corner with the car, you use force to change direction. Changes of speed and direction are forms of acceleration. You finally arrived at the finish line. You use force to make the race car come to a stop. It takes even less force to stop now because you have very little fuel. The more mass an object has, the more force it takes to cause the same change in motion. So now that your car is lighter, it requires less force. Let go of an apple and it doesn't float, but it falls to the ground.
I'm sure you all know about gravity and friction. Like example, an apple falling down is gravity. And imagine a car going down from the mountain because of gravity, but somewhat it stops. If there was no friction, the thing would not have stopped. So there has to have friction too.
You may be familiar with the story that Sir Isaac Newton started thinking about gravity when he watched an apple fall from a tree. Both gravity and friction are the two most noticeable forces in our everyday lives. Click these images and find out more about these forces. It is impossible, but if gravity were to disappear, you and all other objects would float off Earth into space. Gravity is the force of attraction between two objects. It is what holds you to the ground and the moon in its orbit around Earth. The mass of the objects and their distance from one another determines the strength of their gravitational attraction. When you jump up in the air, can you stay there? No, it's impossible. The Earth's gravitational force is so strong it pulls you back down to the ground. You feel gravity all the time as your weight. Rub your hands together. What happens? Friction causes your hands to heat up. Friction is a force that opposes motion and happens when two objects are in contact with each other. Whoosh! Even when you slide down a slippery, snowy hill on a sled, there is still friction between the sled runners and the snow. The friction opposes or works against the force of gravity pulling the sled downhill. Friction is a force that opposes motion and works against an object rolling across a surface. When a ball rolls across a carpet, friction eventually slows down and stops the ball. If you have ever been in a tug-of-war, you know the losing side will...
Now you will study about balanced and unbalanced forces, and the best way to explain is about when you see this tug-of-war.
Fall forward, perhaps in a large mud puddle. Sometimes opponents don't move either way. At other times, one side moves forward and the other side moves back. Click the play button to begin. Sometimes opponents in a tug-of-war are at a complete standstill. Both ends pull with equal strength and neither side moves. This is an example of balanced forces. Watch out! When one team pulls to the left with more force, the opposite side is also pulled to the left. This is an example of unbalanced forces. If both teams are moving the same direction and they don't speed up, slow down, or change direction, the forces are also balanced. This usually means one team is winning easily.